Hello everyone, you're welcome once again to another wonderful learning time with Mr. Omo Godwin. And today we'll be learning a very interesting topic in our physics, basic science and technology and its science. We're going to talk about force today. We're going to talk about force, alright? So let's get into it, people. Let's know what we're going to do, what our aims and objectives are, the things I expect you to know after the lesson. Yeah, to start up, you're going to explain force as an act of push, and you're also going to give me some examples of force. We'll define force, of course. You have to know what that means, and you also tell me what force is. Quick one, is this a pull or a push? We're going to get into it. Now, let's see, what is the meaning of force? Force is any action that moves an object or changes its uniform motion in a straight line. Now, these are things that we should watch out for while defining force. Any action that moves an object. So, force is an action that moves an object. Now, it changes it uniformly in a straight line. So this object is going to be changed in a uniform pattern, but the change occurs in a straight line. Simply put, force is an action that moves objects in a uniform manner in a straight line. Now let's consider some of the examples that we have here in our slides. People are applying force daily. Okay, now there's a force. There's a lady here. She's pulling. The man with the wheelbarrow pushes the wheelbarrow. Okay, now this boy here is pulling while this guy here push. Now, however they do what they do, there's something that is very important for us to note, and that is these objects are moving. Yeah, the objects are moving, and it is moving in a uniform manner. So what are the types of force that we have? Basically, there are two types of force. There's a contact force. Yep, we're going to talk about contact force now. And then we have the field force also. Okay, so the contact force, this occurs between two bodies that are in contact with each other. There's somebody having a contact with another. The man here is having contact with this guy, the ass, and this one here having a contact. Contact force just explain what the word says. Contact, something must touch, something must be involved. One wise scientist said every object is always in a state of rest until an opposite force is applied to it. Yep. So everything remains at a state of point until something occurs. Now, contact force occurs between two bodies that are in contact with each other. For example, we have the push and the pull. Now, I'll give you a simple illustration to know what pull and push is. When you push, you move towards what you are pushing. Your hands, you just get to it and you begin to push. But when you pull, you drag. You make it to tend to come to you. This man pull, here is pulling that ass. And this guy pushes, yep. So we go to feed force. Now what's feed force? Feed force, this occurs between two bodies or objects that are not in contact. For example, they don't need to touch each other. But the force is going to attract them to come, feed force. It's going to bring them. Electric force is a kind of attraction, and it also does that. This one is also a very good example, magnetic force. Okay, now you can see here, before these guys will get here, they necessarily don't need to, the magnet don't need to touch them, but eventually they will get to each other. They will get each other. But before that time, the force that is working between them is called a feed force. Between this space here, there's feed force here, trying to bring them to one another. Another, we have gravitational force and we have magnetic force. So the feed force extended to the force that pulls object toward the center of the earth. That's a gravitational force, like this one here. Say for example, an apple drop from a tree. That is gravitational force because it is pulling it downwards. Yep. It's bringing it down towards the earth. Now, magnetic force, like I used in my previous slide to illustrate to you, that is either it's attracting or repulsive. That kind of force is called a magnetic force. It's a field force also. It tends to pull things to itself. Use, for example, a magnetic force, a magnetic bar, and nails or pins like you have. It has to pull them towards itself. Yeah, that is what it is, a magnetic force. And we have gravitational force also. I've told you gravitational force means this force that pull objects downwards towards the earth. I can see this guy trying to use a ball and a feather, perhaps trying to do an experiment. which one drops first. So that's gravitational force. So what are the evidence and the effect of forces around us? Is it true that we have forces around us? Or Mr. Omo, you're just telling something that is not true. Science have to do with experiments, and we believe what we see. All right, so force can be gravitational. Yep. It can be electrical, magnetic in nature. Examples are the evidence of the forces I want to show you now. Now, magnet attracting a piece of iron field. You've seen that before. A magnet can attract iron pills together. If you have a magnetic bar, that is going to be a wonderful experiment for you to try on this time. Get your magnet and get your pin. Get them far from each other, not too distant far. So by the time you pull your magnet towards the pin, you see that it's going to attract those pins together. That is force. A ball also falling from a height, like this ball here, dropping on the dog, this ball here dropping on this clown, and you can see a man trying to fall from the sky. This tells you that there is force everywhere around us. How about when we pull a heavy object or a box containing, have you not pulled things before? Sometimes we push, other time we pull. These are guidelines. They are telling you that, hey, this thing really happens. And because it happens, so we believe that there is force around us. Either gravitational or the other type of force, magnetic, but it is real amongst us. What are the effects of force? A force is applied to push an object. So whenever this occurs, energy is transferred. Yeah. So number one is transfer of energy. When we apply force, it's important to know that objects also move. We can move things from one place to another via the use of force. One. Two, it helps to do what? To transfer energy. Energy is transferred. Look at this woman here. It's going to help this woman. This guy is perhaps going to trash the bin. But somehow, somewhere, energy is applied. Very important. The effect of force produces a change in position of an object. I have told you this. So when there is force, objects will change their position. They change from where they are to where they should be. One, forces also helps us to do what? It helps us to transfer energy. Force can also stop objects and changes the shape of some objects here. When we have force, it helps to stop some objects and in essence transfer other objects. Yes, that is how it works. So force is very important around. Let's see some more example. There's a girl wheeling a cart. This girl, is she pulling? I want someone that is smart to tell me. Or pushing. I want to hear you. Tell me, what's this girl doing? Pulling or pushing? Yeah, correct. She is pulling. Now, I told you when you push, you have your hand directly on what you're doing. Oh, man, did I just sell myself out? Come on, Mr. Moore. Now, the man here, what's he doing? Is he pulling or pushing? Yeah, you got that one correct. That man is pushing. This guy, what's happening to this guy? What kind of force is affecting this guy now? Now, is someone that's going to drop, I think, from a plane. He's dropping down the plane. Is this pull? Is this a push? What kind of force is this? I need a smart kid now to tell me this. I know you guys are smart. Gravitational force, yeah, is dragging him towards the earth. Brilliant. We have come to the end of our lesson today. In the next class, we're going to look at the advantage and disadvantage of friction. That's force. We're going to explain the ways that force and friction can be reduced. So can you define force for me? What do you mean understand by the word force? I'm waiting. Okay. Now, what are the examples of force? 1. Okay. 2. Brilliant. 3. Now you know better that force is real. And we have all examples around us in real life. I would like for you to get busy, do something that is very profitable this time. And while you wait for our follow-up class activity, I want you to put in your best. So from me to you, I'm saying bye-bye. Thank you for listening. Till we meet another time. Bye.